Okay, Fosca.
Right.
Could you please just to start off with, just tell me your name, please, and your date of birth, if that's okay.
Fosca Rendina.
And the date of birth?
The 18th of the 3rd, 25.
25.
No, it's all right, no.
So I've come here today just to talk about the Second World War, but what I'd like to start off with is if you could just tell me a bit about life before the Second World War, in terms of your father obviously emigrated from Italy.
Yes.
So the year he emigrated, and also where he emigrated from, and life before that in terms of what he done for a living, and also what family life was like for you.
My father came over when he was younger. I can't remember, about 20 was it? I can't remember, something like that. He came over first, and they settled somehow in Leytonstone, the east end of London, and then he went back a year afterwards and married my mother from the same village as they came from. Apparently my mother was a bit of an actress. She used to like to recite things, you know. Anyway, because they have a local theatre group thing in the village, and he came back with her. So now my father already learnt a little bit of English by then, and they bought a cafe in, I think first of all it was Forest Gate, Manor Park. I think it was Manor Park, that's right, Manor Park, yes, this right, Manor Park. He bought this cafe there, and then from there they started, apparently the thing in those days was to have like a York ham, it's a big ham, cooked, you know, at home, like, but they couldn't cook it where they were, but somebody else used to cook it for them. And so my mother used to have to get this bus from Manor Park to go to Leytonstone to get this ham. And I remember her saying, because she didn't know where to get on or get off, but she knew she had to get off at the convent there at Wanstead, where Rita went to boarding school there. Anyway, she knew she had to get off there. By the time she'd passed the convent, she knew she should have got off. So she jumped off while the bus was running, and this ham dropped on the floor, on the pavement, you know. And of course she didn't know what to say in those days. I remember she said, and I said to him, "You blinking daddy, you blinking daddy," she said to him, called him that. Anyway, then they managed to put on the bus and she went home. But she said, "I'm never going to get another ham for you again," you know, this kind of thing. So anyway, so from there, right, then we must have got, then they moved to, we sold that cafe there. And then they moved to Forest Gate, I think, where my brothers were born. They were younger than me, two brothers. And there, again, another cafe. And I remember there that, and naturally we always had to do help in the kitchen. When we used to come home from school, we either had to wash up the dishes or shell the peas or whatever. You know, this is later on. Right? And then that cafe before that, I was telling you about the first one in Manor Park. I recently met an old friend of mine, and she said, if it wasn't for your father, her name's Teresa Sartori, and she said, if it wasn't for your father, my family wouldn't be here now, because they bought this cafe from my father for £500 in those days, and they didn't have the 500, and he said, well, pay me as you go. She said, if it wasn't for that break from your father, we wouldn't be here today, so that helped them, you know, and then they became, you know, great restaurateurs as well. And then from there, then afterwards that he decided, because of these, at that time, there's, besides Wolsey's ice cream and all that, and they used to go on this bike and have ice lollies and sell them in the park, there used to be this, an Italian family that opened up this ice cream factory at Southend on Sea. And and it was the talk of the town, you know, yes, the Rossi's and ice cream, and there used to be these cornets with this soft ice on, you know, and always that. So my father thought, well, oh yes, that's a good idea. That's what we'll do. That we'll open up an ice cream bar in the front of the cafe, and so that's what we did. That by that time we'd moved to Upton Park, to Green Street, Upton Park. And he opened up this ice cream parlour. But it was mostly, and also there's a market near there, Castle Street Market, I think it was called. Queen's Market. Queen's Market, yeah. And so there's this.
Castle down Berlin.
Yeah, that's it. And where the football ground is now. And so he decided to open up this ice cream factory. But naturally, in those days, you know, to set up a thing like that, it took money, and so, you know, he had these this different equipment for making ice cream, which they used to have by high purchase, and and as we went on, so we were doing great with this ice cream. It was Fridays and Saturdays mostly, and we used to have my mother, bless her. She always had a uniform. It was a different colour uniform every year. It was an overall with like an orange band or a green band, and with like a nipper, like the waitresses used to wear in Lyons Cornhouse in the old days. One of those things. We used to put this on the weekends, and then we used to be standing there, and she'd employed these two brothers. They were brothers. Can't remember their names, but young chaps, like us. And they used to stand outside with these cornets, one in each ring, like this. Come by, 2 for a penny, 2 for a penny. They used to go, yeah, oh yeah, and then they had that, yeah, like an artist's thing, but it had holes, and so they used to have that. But in the beginning it was like that, and we used to be there busy making these things all the time, because we used to go to the market. The people naturally did. It was great trade. And in those days, we didn't really have a till, but we used to, in those days, they used to have wafer biscuits to put them, like to make a wafer, an ice cream wafer, wafers. They used to make them in big square tins, like biscuit tins, like that. And so at the weekend, it was like halfpenny, 2 for halfpenny, a penny, or whatever. By the end of the weekend, that tin was full of coppers, full up. And that's how we knew that we were, it was okay. And so at the end of the day, then we used to have to count it all out into these bags, my brothers and I. And
today's value, it must have been about 5,000 or 6,000 just on a Saturday.
Yes, I don't know, pennies. Pennies. And so that was that. So while we were there, also at that time there,
did you make the ice cream?
Yeah, it did. Yes, at the back. Yes, we have the machines. Yeah, in the end, but in the beginning, no. In the beginning, it was that with the ice. Yeah, I was to do that.
I must have been too young.
Yes, yeah, probably out playing tree games or something. And so that so we went to this Catholic school. I think St Anthony's, Fosca, Manor Park.
Off Green Street.
It's got Green Street, yeah. Where the football ground is now, there was a Catholic school there, and we used to go to school there. And we used to get up in the morning, have our breakfast and go off. And then when we came home lunchtime, there was always either a sack of peas to shell or potatoes to peel or the plates washing up. We had to do all that thing before we had our lunch, before we could go back to school. And then once we'd done that, had our lunch, and then to go back to school, we used to pass by the counter. All right, Dad, we're going. So you could either have an ice cream or a chocolate bar or a biscuit or whatever. That was our treat. We were paid like that, and go off to school, and then come back again. And that was the extent of that. In the meantime, yes, I was going by this, coming up to war, and the war broke out. I was about 15, and I wanted to be a bilingual secretary. I thought, oh, great, go around the world, typing and all that business. So I went, they sent me to Pitman's typing college at Forest Gate, I think that was. So I used to go there, and I learnt, to type and shorthand and all that, and I thought, which nowadays doesn't exist, shorthand typing. And so then by that time, I got my first, I think it was 60 words a minute I managed to get. And then the war broke out, and that was the end of that. Then I just became a waitress, and my mother became the cook, and that's where we went all during the war like that. And to me that was so degrading, because I thought, I'm not going to work in the cafe, I'm not going to do this. When you're young, you have all these ideas, you think you're going to be great. And so that's when the war broke out. So my father was arrested, and then, because we couldn't keep the shop open, plus the fact that the customers didn't like us. Talk about calling you names, eye ties and all that thing, And without my father, we couldn't do it, because he was in charge of the ice cream. He did all that part of it, we were just mooching around. But prior to that, prior to the war breaking out, my father decided that they should learn Italian properly, my two brothers learned Italian. And so he decided to send them to this school in Italy. It's a Collegio della Missione Sarzana.
The boarding school.
Yeah, boarding school, which was very, very good, It was the best, for them to go and learn, that. And so while they were there, and because then my father could send money over. But then once the war broke out, you weren't allowed to send anything at all, no correspondence, nothing. And so they couldn't stay at the war. They wouldn't keep them there at the boarding school because no money coming in. That's it. So they said, right, you've got to go on the farm, your uncle's farm, up in Campogiano, anyway, up that way, Castelnuovo. So that's where they went. So all during the war, we never saw them anymore. And then my father there, after that I didn't see him apart from going that time with the other man. I never saw my father anymore. That was the last time when I was 15 years old. And so I really resented that. I thought, oh no, you know. Anyway, all this thing about, the next day when we got up to open the shop, but which we couldn't, and people started throwing stones at our windows, you know, and that. But I don't know how it came that we had bought this house at Woodford, you know, and we'd already progressed along the way somehow or the other. We'd progressed from when he first came to London. Must have gone around on buses, I suppose. And then they had a motorbike with a sidecar, you know. And you see my mother in this little cloche hat and they're going along, you know, for rides in the forest and that. And on a Sunday, being somehow or the other, people that go to another country, they know somebody there, and you all sort of stick together somehow or the other. I'm going back now, because in our parts of Italy, on a Sunday they used to tirare una forma di formaggio. They used to throw the cheese, you know. I don't know, you know, the things like that.
Cheese rolling. Cheese rolling.
Rolling, well, like cheese rolling.
Down a hill, you're rolling.
Not necessarily. No, it's a level thing. Tirare il formaggio, anyway, and then you win it if you know those. And so we always used to go to Epping Forest. We used to go Robin Hood pub. Robin Hood? Oh, we used to stop at the Robin Hood pub to have a drink, and we used to have a lemonade.
High Beach.
High Beach, yeah. And we used to have a big biscuit in those days. Children weren't allowed in pubs, you know. And then we also there were three families. There was us, Notti's and Bruno's father, Bruno. Yeah, Bruno's parents. Yeah. These three families with their children plus us, we used to go and play in the forest, and they used to throw their cheeses, and we used to have a picnic, you know, and then they'd come back on their motorbike with sidecar and like that. Then when coming up to the war, somehow or the other, he bought the first Ford car. What was it?
It was an Austin.
Nostin, first. You know, big deal to have a car, you know. That,
it was a big car,
yeah, and then we had this car, you know, and then we bought the house at Woodford while we still had the shop where we were making the ice cream, you know, that was progressing. And plus the fact, beside that, also in the market itself, he'd bought a little stall, would be like they have nowadays, like these hamburgers, no, well, they have those.
No, it was a big, like...
Yeah, anyway, a stall in the market, but it's concrete things.
But more solid than that, yeah.
And he'd opened up the ice cream parlour there as well. Ice cream they used to sell in the market. So plus that one, you know, we had the shop, and then this thing in the market as well. Doing a roaring trade, so he had that. And he'd bought the house in those days. I remember when there's a newest
restaurant.
and he had a restaurant, yeah, top of the hill.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yes, he did. Yeah, in between. Yeah, no, I know. I was trying to get that in, but I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Plus, we had the other place down the bottom. We had three places.
Very good business.
Yes, yeah. It was very good, very go ahead. And then they had that. But then also, because they used to love this ham on the bone, which is beautiful, York ham, and you have like a white stand and it's on there, and they carve it by hand, you know, like that, like these lovely ham rolls with brown sauce. Yeah, all that lovely thing. And then yes, from there, that's right. Then we moved up a bit more higher class restaurant, not such a cafe, a restaurant, which we had our own silver with the Magnani's restaurant on it. You know, to have that printed on, it cost bloody money in those days, you know, and like today would be. Nobody has their cutlery, you know, with their name on, you know, it was Magnani's restaurant, yeah, which you've still got one fork. I haven't got one.
Anyway. One fork,
yeah, well, that's all. Souvenir. And so that was that. And then, yeah, so this house at Woodford, one side of the road there were smaller houses. I think they were 100, and it was called the Ideal Home Project like thing, you know, and it was 100. And ours on this side, because it was a bit bigger, it was £200 the house, yeah, in those days. And so he'd bought that, right. So it's funny that, you know, just before the war broke out, everything was coming up, and also he'd sent them to Italy to learn Italian, and also money was coming in, getting more, and he thought, right, I'm going to ask his parents, his father, yeah, because they were working for on the Podere there. He wanted to buy them out. He wanted them to be the governors, not for them to work for the Padrone, you know. And he asked him, you know, would that so? And the grandfather said no. He said, no, he said, I don't want to work for you.
Man,
Yeah.
tried.
You know, yeah.
He didn't want to work
He
for his
didn't,
son.
no, yeah.
No, he wouldn't.
But they wouldn't have had to, you know,
If he
anyway.
worked for his son, he would be taking everything. because-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
And
anyway.
there is 50-50, 50% you,
Yeah,
50%
yeah.
you.
Like, what are those called, those cotton pickers in the south? What are they called?
No, mezzadri, no,
It's a special
mezzadro,
name.
mezzadro.
Yeah, mezzadri, that's what my grandmother was.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Mezzadro.
Mezzadro,
Yeah,
mezzadro.
There's another one. You're...
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so that was that. And yes, that's what we were going to...
Can I just, in just 1 minute,
Yeah.
you know, that money he sent over to buy this estate, it's quite a large estate, you know, farm and buildings, cows and sheep, you know. My grandfather said no, so father said put it in the bank, he put it in the bank, then the war broke out. Now that money that could have bought the whole estate just about paid for my brothers and myself's fare to come back to England. You know, it inflated, it went from, you know, the Germans were printing like a toilet roll money, you know. Buying cows and all the rest of it, you were over there. Anyway, carry on,
Yeah.
sorry.
And also he bought us like a cheque, what was it? 100 lire it was anyway.
Savings book? No?
No, it's like a cheque it was. Per 100 lire. 100 lire in those days was quite a lot of money, you know. Then after when the war finished, we went back to see, was it worth anything? They said no, nothing at all. We thought we might, you know, it might have risen, but no, it gone, and it wasn't in circulation anymore anyway, this thing. And so that was that part.
What,
Now-
what about when the night that, you know, up to this point here, it sounds like you were doing well, you're prosperous, you had businesses,
Yes.
your brothers were in Italy learning Italian,
Yeah.
The business was expanding, and then what was the mood towards Italians? What was your say, relation with the Italian community? Were you going to the Italian church? like
No,
you're doing
no, we
now?
weren't going. No, we weren't. We didn't.
Once a year,
Yeah.
shopping up at Terror.
That's it, yeah, oh, that's right. On a Thursday night, my father always used to go up to Teroni's and used to come back with all these lovely food things, you know, like mushrooms, mushrooms, sottolio and coppa salame. Oh, and it was a great feast, this Thursday nights. He always used to go Thursday nights. And I remember, and he was always in a hurry to go out and to get somewhere. And I said to him, oh, Dad, look at your shoes. Take them off. I'm going to polish them for you. And that was my thing. I never wanted him to go out unless his shoes were polished. I always used to polish his shoes. Don't ask me why. But anyway, that's what I said. No, you've got to look smart, Daddy, you know. And that was that. But no, the relationships with them, not really good. It's underhand thing. You know, you feel there's something there. You can't really be truthful with people, you know. And so that was
this
that.
with the customers?
Pardon?
Was this with the customers?
Well, because we didn't have customers anymore, because we closed the shop. We were enemy aliens then. We weren't allowed to
Can
keep.
you recall what happened on the day?
On the day they came in and they said, you know, you've got to go, and that's it, pack your bags. But I can't remember any more about that. I know it was a sad day.
And we were upstairs in the wardrobe.
No, that's the next morning. That was when we woke up. You know, we thought, what are we going to do now? We can't. So well, we'll just carry on. But then they started calling us, you know, horrible names and throwing stones at the window, you know, and that, and well, you know, shouting like that. We thought, oh my God, what's happening? You know, it's happening to us. You know, what are we going to do? And so there's only my mother and I there, and so we thought, oh well, let's go up to the next floor, you know. But then they knew, because they must see it. If I wasn't downstairs, it's going to be next floor, or the next floor up. And we went up the top floor, and the stones would come in, but we hid in the wardrobe until the next morning. And then we said, oh, we're not staying here anymore. We can't open the shop anyway. They wouldn't let you anyway, because you're enemy aliens. And so don't ask me how we got to Woodford, but then we went up to Woodford. And good job we had the house there. But in the meantime, there's no rent being paid on the shop, nothing. You know, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? So they come after you, say, you know, you've got to do this, do that, but you can't. Anyway, I don't know. Everything seemed to stop at that time there. So then afterwards, my mother and I don't know if we had a mortgage or whether we paid cash. But, yeah, and then... Yeah.
So on the 11th of June, when you went to work with... So did your...
I wasn't working.
When your dad
I was
got
at
home?
school. I was at school.
You was at school, but you was going home after school.
Oh, that part there, yeah.
So what...
Yeah.
Where did your dad get picked up by the police?
Oh, no, when we had that cafe, the ice cream shop. We had the ice cream shop there when I was like 15. There.
Street.
Yeah, Green Street, Upton Park. Green Street Station. Yeah, there. That shop there, that's the one. And from there, that was the end of that. And then afterwards we came to Woodford, and all the Italian families that knew us, they wanted to get out of London, so we weren't far out anyway, but they used to come up, there's more countryside, but not that countryside now. They used to come and stay up there, you know, they wanted a room, so we used to give them a room, or they had children, they wanted to come up there for a share, and that's how my mother went along like that, because we weren't working at the time. Then afterwards we decided that we'd go and work I was a waitress, and my mother was the cook to a family in Hackney. Hackney Hippodrome is there now. I don't know if it's still up there. I think they're trying to keep it open. Hackney, Mayor Street, Hackney. That's where I went to work. My first job was there. No, it was the Tulani's. It was the Tulani's. No, it was no. Oh no, Tulani's afterwards. I can't remember the man's name, but I worked in this cafe there at Hackney.
In the meantime, so your dad gets taken away, the shop gets smashed, you leave the shop.
It doesn't get smashed, they're just throwing stones at the window.
Throwing stones at the windows.
Yeah.
You leave and you go to Woodford.
Yeah.
The shop remains closed.
Yes, yeah.
You have to find a job.
Yes.
Along with your mother.
Yes.
What news did you hear from your dad in the meantime?
Nothing, no, we didn't even know where he'd gone to. We didn't know where he was, you know, just hoping one day there was somebody to get in touch with us. We didn't know whether they sent him to a race course or whatever. You know, because before we'd seeded them out, no, you know, they have to go to a place, a holding place, I think, before they know who's who. I think I don't know. I'm just guessing that part of it. So we didn't know. Then in the end, I can't remember how far afterwards that we found out they were sent to the Isle of Man.
How did you find out he'd been sent to the Isle of Man?
I don't know who told us that, but we must have had some kind of
communication.
From the government. It must be from the government, but I can't remember that part of it.
And did you go and see your dad at the Isle of Man?
Yes, but I can't remember when. I must have gone because I can't imagine. How do I know it was Douglas and it was camping? It was up on a hill. How do I know that? And I remember going then. My father saying, you know, la mamma è molto nervosa. Your mother's very nervous type. You know, take no notice. You know, I said, but sometimes she shouts and I can't get on with it. I was confiding in my father. I found I could confide in him. You know, rather than my mother. He said, take no notice of that, and so I didn't. And that's how we progressed. From that place there, then either it closed down or they got somebody else. Then we went to work for Rita Pizzani, right? Her mother, because their father went down the Arandora Star. Went to work
for Rita Pizzani?
From Woodford, yeah. We used to.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's how you know. Is that how you know her?
No, but we knew before because
They all come from the same villages.
they all came from the same village.
Which is the village called?
She comes from Roger, we come from Casati.
Right. Okay.
See, that's another thing. See, like that also. I mean, they were doing quite well as well. Those and Nello, the father, because he wanted Rita to. That's right, Rita to go to the evening classes at Stratford. We used to go because he used to pick her up from the convent there at Wanstead where she was boarding, and he used to pick us up on the way. You know, my brothers and I and Rita, and we always go to this place at Stratford to learn Italian in the class, and then he used to take us home, you know, like that, and he used to drop Rita off at the convent there. That's how we knew all that part of them, you know. And that's like they all came from the same, more or less, villages, so they're all clicky together, you know.
So
and
did you socialise in a club or something?
Yes.
Or at school, or?
Yeah, well, not necessarily with Rita, but we used to belong to the thing near Charing Cross Road.
The Littorio?
Yeah.
Now, what was the Littorio? Was it a club of a fascist
It was put up by the
club?
fascist government for
Italians are working abroad.
for the social side of.
But was it a club that was already there before and then that they took it over, or was it something that they started?
No, I think it was in Shaftesbury Avenue, wasn't it? I think they opened it up.
Yes.
The fascist government opened it up because their embassy and the consulate were different places.
Berkeley Square,
so there wasn't one before the fascists.
No, that's right.
It was more or less the church, I presume. Sorry, I mean,
So the Littorio was a place where, because I've spoken to other people at Littorio, it was the children, the girls were piccolo italiani, and the boys were what, balilla?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's it.
And what kind of activities did you do? Was it?
No, because that's what we were. I was a piccolo italiano. They were balilla, and we used to go to this place at Stratford to learn Italian, you see. And from there,
you served your unions in Edgware.
Yeah, all right,
We
yeah.
used to march up.
Oh, was it like a field? A couple of sportivo? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
But you're mainly interested in what happened to my father, aren't you?
Well, yes, but you know, it's nice to see what life was like before as well.
Well, you know.
No, because see, the thing about... Are you okay, Fosca?
Yeah.
Do you want to take a break at all? Or...
No, it's all right. No, because
Yeah?
I'll forget the gist of it all. I'm coming up to that now. About
Okay.
Piccola Italiana and Balilla. Yes, and from there, like, if you were so-called poor, or I suppose for these children did, they used to send them on a holiday to Italy, you know.
Cattolica?
Yeah, Morena went to Cattolica. Yes, and I went
One
to...
of Viareggio as
Yeah,
well?
Viareggio. We went the girls' Viareggio. And I remember in those days, we used to didn't have tubes of toothpaste. We used to have a tin of toothpaste. It was like a pink thing. And the jam in Italy in those days was marmellata. It was like a piece of jelly. It was lovely, delicious with its Italian bread. We used to love that. And that was it. I think I will take a break.
Yeah? Sure.
On again. My throat's dry.
No, it's all the case, the court case and all that, it's all in there, you know. Because they had to have a, what is it, they have an inquest.
An inquest?
All the inquest in there, the sergeant major was at the gate
Where
and
was up to?
so, and he was called and this and that, and why wasn't the doctor, you know. Because there it says 2 hours, and I understood it to be 2 days before we received this, but there it says 2 hours.
Mm.
And I still think it was 2 days, that's why he died. Because he had a heart problem, and they called for the doctor, and the doctor didn't come. And they didn't have a doctor in that camp, because they had to have a doctor from another camp.
Yeah.
Because it was said somebody said at least the only good thing that came out of it was because they were requesting a doctor.
Cavalli said that to you. I think Cavalli said that, yeah.
Yeah, he requested a doctor, and apparently they got a doctor after
Into the camp?
into the camp. Well, apparently they were doctors.
In other camps, in others,
You know.
like Germans or
There
whatever.
was a hospital on the Isle of Man for the internees.
Yes, there was.
Whether there was a resident, because there was about 4 or 5 camps in the Isle of Man.
Yes, yes.
Palace,
Mm.
Onken,
Yeah.
Ramsey, Peel,
Yes.
Mura,
Mm.
and then there was a hospital where I think, you know, that's probably where the doctors were
Yeah,
housed.
perhaps.
You know, it's like an orderly or someone goes up to the camp, you know, to the office, and they say so and so's not feeling well. All right, we'll send for it. It's a thing that would happen. It's a fucking nuisance, you know. Keep on bothering. They die, you die, you know.
So your dad was 41,
43 when he
43.
43.
Mm.
So how many years had he been on the Isle of Man then?
Well, during the war,
Since
well,
the
not all the
war,
war,
since the war.
yeah.
But if he died in
43.
died. 43.
He died in 43.
Yeah.
So he was interned on the 14th of June, which says there.
Yeah.
3 years.
So he was already on the Isle of Man for 2 years.
3 years, wasn't it?
3 years, I think.
Till 43.
Well,
Oh, yes.
his age was 43, but did he die at 40? No, I think 40,
He was
yeah.
43, yeah.
Well, if he
Yeah,
was
43.
born in 1899,
Mm.
plus 1, 40, it would have been 41 when he was interned,
Yeah, that's
and
40.
then if he was 43 when he
Yeah.
died, he
Mm.
was 2 years on the Isle of Man.
Yes, that's it.
So in
yeah.
those 2 years that he was in the Isle of Man, from the 14th of June,
Yes.
what was his health deteriorating? In his letters to you, did he say that his health was
I can't
deteriorating?
remember us receiving the letters, if there were
But
very few in
there's things in
between.
there about there. They said that he had a murmur. No, there is something about the heart, you know, when he went in and the medical they'd given him apparently. But this is all after, you know, they're writing down this after he died.
Okay,
You know, so in other words, you don't quite know
it's all in retrospect.
whether it's some truth or whether it's anyway. You can
Anyway,
my
so yeah.
sister.
So where were we up to before? We're up to...
We got to the point where you've moved to Woodford after the shop's been, you had stones thrown, you
Yes,
were working for
mm.
Rita Pezzani.
Yeah.
And
Other people we worked to as well for. But we used to go from Woodford. We used to travel because they had the place in Edmonton. The Swan Edmonton. Tottenham, I think it was Tottenham, that's where they had the place. And at this stage, we're 15, Rita and I, more or less the same age. And Lily, Rita's mother, she used to own the shop. And during the war, like there was a dance hall at Tottenham Palais de Dance, and we were 15, and we wanted to go to this dance on a Friday night, Rita and I, but our mothers said, no, you're not going on your own, and they came to. What an embarrassing thing for us to, you know. Our mothers were sitting on the side, and we wanted to dance with these boys, you know, like that. We always laugh about it now, you know, and so that was that part of it.
Did you get a dance?
I can't remember. We must have done something. I can't remember the part of it.
Threesome dance anyway.
Oh dear. And so that was that part, and then I can't remember what happened after that. Then
So,
the war.
What about the Blitz? So I imagine that you must have saw quite a lot.
Oh yes. Then after that, I went to work at Tony's East Ham. All right. Then from there, we went to work again for another relation, you know, no, a friend from the same village, Tolainis they were, and we went to work at Coronation Street. Coronation, I think it was called, the restaurant at Manor Park, and this is during the war, and we used to travel on the train from Manor Park to Woodford, to Ilford Change, and get on the bus to Woodford. But it was night time, you know, after 7 you weren't allowed to be out, and I remember being a waitress there, but then we're moving up, more high class waitress, you know, with the black dress and the white pinny and the thing like this, you know, and remember we was quite busy there, but then that was a silver service restaurant, you know, and we used to have quite rich customers used to come there. There was something to do with the war. They must produce things for the war or something. I can't remember whether it was clothes or something, factories and that. And that's it. And then this restaurant owner, he had 2 restaurants. No, one was Torpedo's. Oh, the other one was Gianotti's. That was right. Oh, yeah, Gianotti's. Yeah. Anyway, so this restaurant at East Ham, they used to have once a year. They used to have a dance, dinner and dance for the waiters and waitresses. You know, these two restaurants and that. And remember going there one night. I think I must have been about 17 by this time. And we went there to this dinner to this party at this cafe, and that's where I met my husband there, because he used to play the accordion, you see, and because he was the entertainer playing the music while we were all dancing. And I remember dancing with him. I thought, oh my God, you're good at playing the accordion, but what a terrible dancer you are, you know. I didn't want to dance with him anymore, because there was this, I liked to listen to the music, it was great, accordionist. And so that, and then that's all during the war. Then after that, he was in charge of another cafe down the road, opposite.
Who was?
Romulo. Bonitos, East Ham there, Bonitos, opposite the Iceman. What was his name? The Iceman shop.
Gatti.
No, Gatti, another one.
Rossi?
No,
another one like that. Oh,
quite well known.
Yeah, he used to have a cafe down there. The daughter lives at Woodford now. Peter Grassi, Miss Grassi, Peter no.
Anyway,
Peter. It'll come to it. Anyway, it's there. So my husband was in charge of this cafe there, and then we started going out and that, and then afterwards by this time at Woodford there was another family up there that had bought a house. They were called. Their name was Biagionis. Now the Biagionis used to live opposite us, and so during the war was always being that my husband played the accordion, and there was the Torainis. No, there was the Biagionis and. No, what was the other one? Andreotti's. Yeah, we were all up there together. We're all originally knew each other from the village, and they say go like that, you know. And we always used to have all these different parties where my husband was always playing the accordion, so we used to have fabulous nights, you know, we used to go and that. But it's so harmless fun. We never used to drink anything either in those days. It's funny that, you know, you made your own entertainment, and of course, and where the blackout came all the time, night time, you wondered if you were going to live the next day, you know, and the bombs coming over and the doodle bugs and that. And you think, oh, you know, make sure that your curtains were all pulled, you didn't see a light, you know, the blackout, you know, you had to have these black curtains up. And so that was that. And then after that, what happened after that? I can't remember.
Was it difficult from all of a sudden being friendly aliens, so to speak, turning into enemy aliens? I mean, apart from the stone throwing that you received in the shop, and also in the flat above the shop, Was there any other forms of, say, xenophobia directed towards you? Or was there like a calming down afterwards?
Calming down afterwards, yes. Calming down afterwards. But then you see, you tended not to go. You to protect yourself. You think, right, I'm not going to go there because there might be trouble. You know what I mean? Even though there wasn't, you wouldn't go. You know.
What's your name? Harry Brown.
No, it's things like that. You know. So that kind of stuff.
You have to take up false identities, don't you? To escape the police.
Was there other people in the Italian community then that you saw that their dads were on the Isle of Man as well? Or
no, I don't know. Only after the war we found out different people.
Stay out.
Eh?
And the Tolainis.
I don't know.
Was Giannotti in there in the Isle of Man?
Yeah, he died with his son, no?
Oh, and the
Yeah.
Star, does it?
Yeah, they both died.
Giannotti,
Yeah, father and son, they died. They're the ones that had the restaurant at East Ham.
East Ham, yeah. Giannotti. Actually, Rita's husband.
Ugo.
He used to manage the place, Giannotti's place.
Ugo?
No, Mario.
Did he manage there?
He was the manager of the
Was he?
East Ham one.
He wasn't manager there, he used to work there. He used to work there because he used to know Romolo. He used to work there. And then they used to go to the East Ham Palace again, seeing different shows on a Saturday night. Oh, it was lovely that. Or different films. So a film with Dick Powell and somebody else in, I don't know, and she's on a swing, black and white films. Oh, it was, it was a great, going out and going to see a show. That's it. Apart from that, I can't remember what else.
I guess stuff like the Littorio was closed.
Yes. Yeah.
So did you go there and
No, after that, no.
You couldn't congregate. I mean, although I wasn't here,
No, didn't
Makes
socialise.
sense. I mean, you put yourself at risk going to a place like the Vittoria. Of course, it must have been like my father's shop closed down.
Yeah.
So he couldn't have it anymore. It was a place. I'm sure it was closed down.
Yeah. No, because also being that we had this ice cream factory thing, and we had to have buy these boxes of wafers, to make these wafers, like biscuits.
The Marcantonios.
Marcantonios, yes.
Asci's wafers.
Asci's wafers. They used to be called Asci's wafers, but an Italian firm, Marcantonios. They were renowned for biscuits, for these wafers, for these things, for the ice cream, and they used to go there as well. That's right, and that's how my father got to know them, because they used to supply them with the wafers. Yeah. Do you know what a wafer is? I don't know. Yeah, right, yeah.
With the ice cream.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it used to be lovely in those days. Anyway.
But in terms of, say, you didn't hear from your dad from a long time.
No.
So you didn't know where he was.
No.
When news of the Arandora Star broke out, did this preoccupy your mum or yourself? Because
it must have done, but I can't remember that part of it because I was busy working and earning my £2.50 a week.
Didn't you go with Mum?
Yeah, we went round there to see him. Yes, we had this picnic.
When you got back to London,
that's him. Yeah, when he died. Yeah, that's it.
In other words, between them leaving the Isle of Man and getting back home in London, my father had died.
Oh right.
Yeah.
They didn't know anything. They got home. They saw that telegram.
Because she's waving bye-bye to him like 2:00. The boat left.
Can you tell me that so I can, because that would be something to include.
Yeah, about the boat thing.
No, you going to the Isle of Man and then.
Oh yes, right. So being that we were working with Lily at that time, during the weekends when we could afford enough money, we prepared this hamper to take to my father. Like it would be chocolates or, I don't know, biscuits or tea bags or whatever, some treat to take to him, sugar, whatever. And so we took that to him because they were involved in it. So, oh yes, good. Oh, look, there's something for the hamper. Everyone's donating something. Like that. And so off we got. But this part I can't really remember whether I went with Mum that time or it was the time before, because no, not this time. Anyway, I was there, and my mother was about to come home that Saturday, and I thought, all right. But a knock at the door, and then somebody from the war or something said, right, no, they said, oh, there's a telegram for you. So, because in those days you had telegrams, don't do them anymore. And the telegram, it said, your father has died, at the Isle of Man at so-and-so time. And it's the same time that the boat left, and I thought, oh, perhaps he died of a broken heart because he was saying bye-bye to my mother, it was so emotional. That's what I imagined that would happen there. But it's got it there when he left and when he died. But that part of it, that's all. And that's from that time there. We never did find out what he died of, exactly what, until about a couple of years ago, my brother... because they had the what was it?
No, oh,
right, yeah, because you came to the club with me, that's right.
There might be some...
Yeah, records office. Go to the records office, he said to me. And that's where he went and he photocopied that. And that's why we know now. After so many years, we found out, how exactly why he died and all that kind of thing. It's in there. But that was terrible, that part of it. Telling my mother that, screaming and ranting, she couldn't, You can't accept it. You mean to see him and say bye-bye, and you come home and he's dead. It's not possible. And then there were different people coming round to the house trying to scrounge money from us, and we didn't have any money anyway. And trying to say, your father owed me this and that, but we never did know if it was true or not. I know they couldn't get any money out because we didn't have any money. But going back to Woodford again, prior to that before the war, and having the house at Woodford, I think I must have been 10 or 11. By this time, we were going to a school at Woodford Green. Woodford Green, yes. And it was coming up to Christmas, and of course we had a big garage at the side of the house. And it was coming up to Christmas, and we knew something was in the garage, but we didn't exactly know what was in there, and we thought, I wonder what could it be. So, we're all peering underneath the door and see if we could see through the keyhole what's in there, something for us, And of course there was 3 bikes in there, one each, And we thought, oh, it's our Christmas present. So, because my brother said, how are we going to find out? How can we do it? Anyway, we managed to get it home, and we got these bikes and we went out on them, unbeknown to my father and mother, And like that, and I don't know, and then what?
One of them.
No, anyway, and because at that time they were building the South End Road up there, going towards South End, the tarmacking and that. And of course, I had some slippers, not slippers. They used to be trained in the old days. They were black pumps, and you shouldn't go on a bike with that because you've got no heel on there, And I'm pedalling away on this South End Road, and of course it's all they just tarmac the road. And I thought, oh yes, they say it's good to breathe the tar in for your chest, and not like a bad chest, but I'm breathing the tar, and I'm cycling along, and oh dear, and my foot slips. And my knee, I get all this tar in my knee. So there's no way of saying that we weren't on a bike, I wasn't on the bike, And to this day, I've still got all these black things in my knee. Yes, but I just love the smell of that tar.
It just shows you what a social club can do for you, Just because they've got a list of names, all the members, that's it, everybody inside. You must have some... precious sympathies.
Yeah, that's that part. Now about about after the war. Now after that, I don't really remember much more of that.
So your dad was he a member? So this Littorio, was it? Well, you had to.
It was a social club.
Social club.
And you're a member.
So do you sign a register then?
Yes, I'm sure you do.
And you put your name and address.
Yeah, like where the Italian club there, no? When we go there to have our lunch, whatever, on a Thursday.
And you're all members of that club.
Yeah.
So they've got your details.
Oh yes, where you live, where you don't. Otherwise, how are they going to find out?
So they send you information.
Yes, that's it. What's happening? Yes, what's going on.
So the Littorio was a.
Like the head office would be there.
So the Littorio was the main one in England then.
Yes, of London really. I think I can't imagine it because we don't know anything else.
The families from our part were the East End of London, so they socialised amongst themselves. They didn't go to those. I can't remember. I was too young.
So where were we up to then now?
So it's difficult because it's difficult because in the background we're going to have this conversation.
Yes, I know.
Sorry.
I'm just thinking about how to do this now.
Sorry.
No. It's okay. I'm just saying how it was probably because of the membership of the Littorio was a mark against you. Did you find yourself behaving in a different way in the sense that...
No, not really, because we were in our own little world, my mother and I. We had no more, association. We didn't go anywhere anymore, anyway, we couldn't, And no, we were just up there.
But Mum was more afraid than you?
Yes, yeah. And we didn't do anything anymore, really. We just waited till the end of the war, and that's it. And then after we had to go and sort out all these papers about the shop, you know, what we owed, what we didn't own, and all that business, you know.
Was
and
there any restrictions on your mum? She was
she had to report to the police station every time, didn't
right,
she?
But this is quite important because
passport.
They made an aliens restrictions, didn't they?
Yes.
So can you tell me a bit about the restrictions on your mum?
Well, no, apart from that, you know, I know she had to report to the police station every time. I don't know, it's like every 3 months, it seems to me. I don't know.
You were born in England, you were an English subject.
Yeah, not me, no, but Mum.
Yeah,
Mum,
I mean.
she had to report, not me.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, no, I can't.
So she had to. She had to report. Was there a curfew on aliens as well? Whereby
There might have been for her, but I can't remember that part of it. I can't remember whether it was 2 miles. I don't remember that part, but she was like a cook. She was known as a cook.
Because I know Rita's mum, she said that because
4
Rita was
miles.
at boarding school, she was allowed out of the 4
Yes,
mile range. So
yes,
she
probably.
could go and see Rita for a long time in the boarding
Yeah, that's
school.
right. Probably was the same. Must have been the same because they had Italian passports.
Was there were your radios confiscated, telephones confiscated?
No. Still, we just had a radio anyway. We didn't have a phone at Woodford anyway, did we? No, those days we didn't have a phone. No, it was letters. No, we had our radio. That's all. But no, because we weren't prisoners, were we? You know, we were just free agents trying to earn a living. And I remember when we used to go to work there at Tottenham, our treat was on a Monday night we used to stop off at the waterworks at Woodford. It was called Gates Corner. It's called, and there was a cinema there called the Majestic.
Yeah.
Well, it was Monday nights. We used to go at 7 o'clock. We used to go and watch a film and then go home. That was our treat.
Rump steak, chips and tomatoes.
Yes, yeah. Rump steak, chips and tomatoes, and a tin fruit with evaporated milk, but 2 slices of bread and butter though. You couldn't eat the fruit, you know, the tin fruit was a luxury. You couldn't have that unless you had 2 slices of bread and butter with it. That was that.